entire generation. Porgy's story is not only my story, not only your story, but it's the story of folks that want something more for generations to come. Thank you very much. I hope that's okay.
Hi guys. Hey. So, what I would say was already just said. So this is the aria "I Got Plenty of Nothing" from Porgy and Bess. Oh, I got plenty of nothing, and nothing plenty for me. I got no car, I got no mule, I got no misery. The folks with plenty, got a lot go they go. Afraid somebody's a-going to rob him while he's out to make him more. What for? See, I got no lock on the door, that's the way to be. And they can steal the rug from the floor, and that's okay with me, cause the things that I prize, like the stars in the skies, are all free. Oh, I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me. I got my gal, I got my song, got heaven the whole day long. No use complaining. Got my gal, got my Lord, got my song. Oh, I got plenty of nothing, and nothing plenty for me. I got the sun, I got the moon, I got the deep blue sea. The folks with plenty, got to pray all the day. Seems with plenty, you sure got to worry how to keep that devil away. Away. See, I ain't a friend about hell till the time arrive. Never worry long as I'm well. Never one to strive to be good, to be bad. What the hell? I is glad as alive. Oh, I got plenty of nothing, and nothing's plenty for me. I got my gal, I got my song, I got heaven the whole day long. No use complaining. I got my gal, got my Lord, got my song. So next is to come up here to sing for you is the wonderful, amazingly talented Kiani Richardson, who will be singing the role of Clara in this. Clara is the young mother in this show. Clara is married to Jake, they're the young couple in the show. They represent life, they represent everything that's coming up new. And when you hear her sing, you'll know exactly why she was chosen to sing this role. Kiani Richardson. And by the way, as soon as you hear it, you'll know this is the iconic song, Summertime. This is not from Porgy and Bess. Because we couldn't give you everything. We want you to come to the show. You can't get the cow. Okay? Or no, you have to buy the cow. That's what I'm saying. All right, so, but this next selection from a very famous opera, Don Giovanni. It's the story of Don Juan. Okay? Someone whom I'm nothing like. The story of Don Juan, who was supposed to be the most famous lover in the world, with all these women. And in this particular scene in this opera, Don Juan meets Zerlina, who is literally just got married to a young man named Mazzetto. Well, Don Giovanni doesn't care about who she marries because she looks beautiful, obviously. Yeah? And so Don Giovanni doesn't care. Don Giovanni says, hey, I know you just married him, but if you look, I have this really nice little bungalow, a little cottage up in the hills, and there is where we can go there and we can go be married. And she said, but didn't I just marry Mazzetto? And he said, Don Giovanni said, don't worry, I'll change your whole fate. I'll change your world. And as a peasant girl at the time, this is quite a interesting and kind of a confusing proposition because the status of Don Giovanni is truly like super high status and compared to a peasant at the time. So she's a little confused. And so Don Giovanni convinces her in a moment to forget the man she just married and come marry me. Again, I'm nothing like this. Quel casinetto è mio, soli saremo, e la gioiello mio ci sposeremo, la ci darem la mano, la mi dirai di sì, e di non è lontano partiam ben mio da qui.
Vorrei e non vorrei, mi trema un poco il cor, felice versarei, ma può burlarmi ancor,
Vieni mio bel diletto,
ti fa pietà, Mazzetto.
io canterò tua sorte.
Presto non son più forte, non son più forte, non son più forte.
Vieni, la ci darem la mano.
Vorrei e non vorrei,
La mi dirai di sì.
mi tremo un poco il cor.
Partiam ben mio da qui.
Ma pur bullarmi un
Vieni mio bel diletto, io canterò tua sorte.
non son più forte, non son più forte, non son più forte.
Andiam, andiam.
4 seconds.
My wife happy to know that I'm not gonna sing. Since Neil started, both of Trey's grandparents have come in and they wanted to know who is this guy yelling at their son on the sideline. But I wanted Neil to share with you. Neil is not just a football coach at South Plantation. He was a football player at Piper High School, even though they never had a good team. But I want Neil in one of our meetings. Neil explained to us his path into singing, and he's, as you can tell, he's talented. But I want him to share with you why we're doing this and why we want some of our youth to hear about his experience. So Neil, tell them how you passed up a scholarship to play football for the University of Miami.
Right.
So, and went on to where you went to school at. The big time linebacker from Piper High School.
Now, if I use the vernacular, what I just detected there was him throwing shade. That's what the young folks say, throwing shade. Well, quite honestly, I did graduate from Piper High School. I was quite a good football player in high school, but I would have maxed out my potential because I was only a 5'8" middle linebacker who was not that fast, but I was still very good. Okay. That being said, just a slight correction in the story. I did get a scholarship offer from the University of Miami, but it wasn't for football. It was for singing, and I did turn it down. I turned it down to go to New England Conservatory of Music instead. I won't keep you here too long, but I will just tell you this. It's a story of, basically, the story of how all of the arts work. Is big-hearted people willing to look out for somebody who's young and they found to be talented. And I had a great chorus teacher in high school she recruited all the athletes of the school. We had we had state record holders in that chorus. 50 young men in the high school chorus in the inner city in 1994, 93, okay? That's how old I am. Anyway, so that being said, I was able to get my chorus teacher encouraged me to turn down some of the small football scholarship offers that I did receive, but not University of Miami. And I ended up turning those down to go to University of Miami. And like I said, I was encouraged also to go to New England Conservatory, so I ended up turning down to University of Miami because I got a full scholarship to New England Conservatory. And it's all because my chorus teacher and my principal, and I'm going to say his name because he's a prominent member of this community, and he was, I don't know if he's still around, Al Hankerson. Al Hankerson was the principal at Piper High School in 1993 when I was going to graduate. And he, out of his pocket, paid and sent me to Boston, to New England Conservatory to audition. And it was because of that I was able to come with the scholarship, and because of that I was able to stand for the And my chorus teacher's name is Carol Krieger. I want to say that publicly also. Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk about your involvement with the symphony over the years?
Okay, I got involved with the symphony like 4 years ago now, I think. It's been a great family relationship ever since. We started with a Broadway concert, and then we went on to do Beethoven's Ninth Symphony together in the Adrian Arch Center. We've done several concerts since then, and all through this time I've been whispering in Sabrina's ear, Porgy, Bess, Porgy, Bess, Porgy, Bess. And here it is, and it's come to fruition. And I'm so glad that it has, because it is such an important show. I mean, I'm going to be very practical. It is one of the probably the number one employer of black opera singers right now. We sing in a lot of different shows, but collectively, Porgy and Bess helped pay our mortgages. You get what I'm saying? So it's a very powerful piece for many reasons, many layers. And I'm so glad that the symphony has been able to take this on. And I'm also so glad that the symphony has taken on the noble task of going into our schools and really connecting with our community, because I'm going to tell you, the next Beethoven, the next Mozart, the next everybody sitting right down there off 27th and 13th, and they sit right off of Sistrum, right off of 31st, like they're there. Like the next greatest violinist is right there. They walk into school every morning right now, and I'm so happy the symphony's been able to be involved to help us find them, okay, and bring them to light. So thank you guys.
So, if you take a look at this poster here, you're going to see some of the cast members and the main cast members, and I can tell you that Neil and Jermaine go back to the New England Conservatory, right? And that's how they come to know each other. And he is involved in the Greek culture, and our Serena is an AKA. I hope I'm saying that correctly.
Jermaine's an alpha. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention. Jermaine's alpha
You
phi
do
alpha.
that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll take it. Okay, so Jermaine's here, alpha phi alpha. So where is she? Where is she?
Serena.
Well, she's Simone Sue sings Serena, right? She is a AKA, I believe, Alpha Kappa Alpha, and then Randy's aunt is also is she Delta or AKA? AKA. Yes. I mean we got Greek all through the show. I mean everybody, I can't even name all the different people, and every one of my coaches growing up were all Q's. So it's hey. You don't have any Q's in you? No? Is this an exclusive party? Anyway, but yeah, so it's Greek all throughout, guys. We're representing all throughout the cast, the ensemble. So, I mean, please come out, bring 10 friends. Come on.
Thank you, Neil. I'm going to take it, though, at this moment, two things I have to point out. I see Leslie. I couldn't see you before, Leslie, to point you out. Leslie is here. She's the head of the Cultural Division of Broward County. I also have to tell you that Senator Thurston has done a great job of stepping up to help us in a way that was very unexpected. Symphonies don't happen without the community. And one part of the community is the state government arts and culture grant that they give out, except for this year, instead of giving it out, we were qualified for $140,000. We received $6,900 to run the symphony in 4 counties. $6,900. We hired 232 musicians last season. Let that sit with you for a minute. That is not even enough to pay one musician for one service. So I can tell you that the county has gone and tried to find extra funds, and Senator Thurston, everybody's trying to help us in ways that are extraordinary. This grant that came through to work with the children, a woman called me one day, I'd never met her before, from a private foundation, and she said, "Do you have an education program?" I said, "Oh my God, do we have an education program? And we are suffering. We don't know how we're going to do what we have to do this year." So obviously, if you're involved with any group, it doesn't matter what it is, if it's a corporation or any other kind of thing, if you yourself, if you would like to be a patron of this event, I can tell you that your help is desperately needed this year, because this opera was already scheduled before that cut that came about from the senator. And Leslie knows that, and her team know that, and our grants are already set and locked in for Broward County, so we need the extra help. If you know of anybody that is a fan of classical music, of education, of symphony schools, any of the things that we do, we really need your help. I also want to point out that Taste of the Islands is here with Khalib, and she's been wonderful. She's doing a trade with us in her publication. I just noticed that. I also want to take a moment and point out how one person can make a big difference in the world, and that's our Beth Holland, our godmother of the symphony. Beth had stepped to the plate when she heard about this, and she's underwritten the costumes, and these are the actual costumes from Costume World in Deerfield from her friend Marilyn Wigg's collection. These are the costumes that the cast with Audra McDonald and Norma Lewis, all of these people that were in the production, these are the actual costumes that she has collected from all over. How many, Sabrina? Over 100 costumes. All the changes, the Kitty Island, the hurricane, all the different parts, the funeral, all the parts of Porgy and Bess, as you will probably all well know the show more than even I do. If people have been asking me questions about what are you doing, the orchestra, the South Florida Symphony Orchestra, under the baton of Sabrina, will be on the stage. There will be a set that will be on the stage, and the cast members will perform in front of the orchestra. So imagine being the conductor of an orchestra and conducting backwards. That is what she's going to be doing. And she did it with the Martha Graham program and the Keys, and she's going to be doing it again here. So it is a phenomenal undertaking that we're doing as a community. One of the other things I wanted to mention is I noticed that we had a gospel group here tonight. We have community auditions going on. You must be classically trained. You must be able to read music. But that is going on right now. All you have to do is go to our website, southfloridasymphony.org and /auditions. It's up there. Everything you need to know about the music is there. Dawn is going to be joining us as part of our chorus, and we're thrilled about that. And give a little round of applause for her. I would say that the other thing I want you to know is that Pedro, who's back there, he can also handle individual sales tonight if you're inclined to get tickets tonight. The show is already at 850 sales, and we haven't even started advertising. The hall only holds 2,600 people, and it's for one night only. In front of the event, there will be a season kickoff on the 16th at the Arch, in Key West on the 19th, and then we'll be coming up here on the 23rd for the finale, and that will be the performance that will have our gala. So I'm going to take the opportunity to bring up our chair, Miss Jacqueline J.C. Hayward. Tell you about the gala.
Thank you, Jacqueline. She's Jacqueline number 1. I'm Jacqueline number 2. I know my place. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here this evening, because you could have gone someplace else, you could have done something else, but you chose to be with us, and for that I'm truly grateful. I'm not going to take up a lot of time, but I do want to emphasize the importance of your participation in this production. As you heard, the talent is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. Let me tell you how I got involved with the symphony. My neighbor, Beth, introduced me to South Florida Symphony. And when I found out that Sabrina was the maestro, I was touched. I don't know whether you are aware, but there are very, very few women who lead symphonies at the level of South Florida Symphony, and she does an amazing job, and I immediately wanted to be involved with the symphony. Number 2, the fact that the program that is very dear to Jacqueline's heart is Symphony in the Schools, and that's working with youngsters, introducing them to classical music, getting them involved. They would never have that opportunity had it not been for South Florida Symphony. So I'm grateful for that. But I want to impress upon you, it is so important for you to come to this performance. I don't want the performers to look out in the audience and not see people who look like you. So I'm asking you, I'm imploring you to tell your neighbors, tell the person that sits next to you on the job, tell your synagogue and your church and all your religious organizations and your sororities and fraternities and community groups, please get the word out and let them know. Yes, we've sold 800 tickets, but the Broward Center seats 2,600, and we want to fill all of those seats. And also, there is a gala that is taking place at 5 o'clock before the performance at 7:30. It's going to be a Charleston-themed gala, VIP, drinks, fabulous menu. We're going to honor people in the community who have done great things. And then after the performance, it's going to be, if you like sugar, which I do, desserts galore, and you'll have an opportunity to see all the performers after Porgy and Bess. So please get your tickets. Pedro can help you. I want you to also come to the gala, which is going to be black tie, but the important thing is to support this symphony, because our classics are disappearing throughout the United States. We want to keep the South Florida Symphony alive, especially because we have Sabrina, and there aren't that many women that are in her position. We want to support her and support the symphony. So thank you again. Please spread the word.
All right, so we've said everything that we have to say, but we'd like to hear from you. Is there any questions that we can answer for you? Is there something that you'd like to know about Sabrina, the orchestra, our season? We have our full season showing here. There will be 4 Masterworks concerts starting on November 28th with our classical series at the Amaturo Theater. Then we will move into the performance of Nightmare Before Christmas, which is a co-presentation with the Broward Center in December, Porgy and Bess in January, the Vienna Boys Choir and Natasha Grimsky in February. Then we have Svetlana Smolina on piano in March, and then we finish up the season with Julian Schwartz, who I turned on the High Holy Day services in New York streaming from the Central Synagogue, and there he was playing the cello for High Holy Day services. I couldn't even believe it. I said, oh my God, that's our cellist. So we bring people in that are world-class performers, that are soloists, that perform with the symphony orchestra, and we perform that in the Amaturo. The other concerts will be either at Parker Playhouse or at the All-Rain Theater. Dawn, is there anything you want to say to your group, for the different groups? I think the other group is about the Lynx group. The Lynx, do we have any representative from the Lynx here tonight? Any Lynx here? Yes? Yes! Wonderful, thank you. So that's another one of the groups that we are looking to involve with things that we're doing. I want to thank everybody on behalf of the Symphony, our board of directors, for coming out tonight. And I especially want to thank Derek and Keith for adding some wonderful information to what we're doing. Kiani and Neil, hearing them is just takes my heart every time. And it's great for us to know that it came about so organically from Neil working with Sabrina and saying, my gosh, I'm not the only black person on the stage. Let's do this. It's the United Nations. When you come to see us, you'll see all people from all over the world that are part of our group. And we're very honored to be part of this community, make this our home. We thank you for tonight. Grace, is there anything I might have missed, Grace? Grace, would you like to say something to conclude? Right? We got Jacqueline and Grace and Jacqueline. We all got the pearls going on, right?
I was tearing up. This is extremely special. And I would like to say hello to Sullivan. And I would like to say thank you so very much to Mr. Al Tucker. There are many people with whom I go way, way back on our advancement of cultural and heritage tourism development, and I could be long-winded, as many of you know that I am, so I'm going to try to keep it short. But I really want to give a lot of praise and thanks to Mr. Tucker for the incredible amount of support that he has given to me and to my agency and to this initiative, and thank you so much. Other incredible partners, Florida Children's Theater, Janet Ehrlich is one of my partners in crime in all this work, Derek Davis. We have on this background, this is my team back here. All of these folks, 99.9%, and they're also affiliates of the Destination Sistrunk Artist in Residence program. They have been working with me for 3 years to advance a model program called Destination Sistrunk, and we know Sistrunk, our historic African American community, and these are artists and residents who have been embedded in this neighborhood, doing programs, doing presentations at the African American Research Library Cultural Center. Please give them a round of applause. They're amazing. They are intercultural. Tara Chadwick back there. Everybody knows Darius. I mean, we talk about you a lot. And all his incredible work. Nikki Lopez, Tara Chadwick. We have the Broward Gospel Announcers Guild back there. We have the 48-Hour Film Project. We have some new friends that are out women. We're doing a conference next year. Taste of the Islands, Cleve Thompson. I don't know if anybody saw her interview and podcast with Mr. Gillum, which was wonderful. We have the Cultural and Heritage Alliance for Tourism, which is also one of our incredible partners. I'd like to say thank you to Erica back there. Is there anybody on my party train that I miss? No. Okay, I love you all. Just to add, Broward County Commission in January of this year, they passed a resolution in support of cultural and heritage tourism development in Broward County. It's a major deal, particularly in our communities. Our historic communities, we have so many under-leveraged assets in our community. We need to start leveraging our cultural and heritage tourism treasures in our historic neighborhoods. It's economic development, it's jobs, it's community development, and it is preservation. We are losing way too many of our historic locations, and with incredible public-private partnerships like the one that we have going on now within our sister neighborhood, we can definitely make a difference. This is a marriage between the arts and cultural community. Thank you so much to Senator Thurston for coming this evening. I've been chasing this man down for years, and I finally have an audience, and I ain't letting that go, because when we talk about our neighborhoods in Florida, this is this is our next wave. When we talk about creative economy development, when we talk about our film industry, when we talk about funding for arts and culture, because our communities